Welcome to the Horror Hangout, a podcast where two bearded film fans watch the best and worst horror movies of all time and talk about them. My name is Ben Errington, and I'm joined by regular co-host, Mr.
Andy Conduit Turner. Hello, Ben.
Hello, Andy. And today we've got a very special guest, a very special returning guest. She's a horror expert who intros horror films for Bristol Bad Film Club, has an improvised Dungeons and Dragons show. She's also a comedian and lifelong horror fan. Welcome back to the show, Alice Taylor Matthews.
Thank you for having me. Yay.
Hello. Thank you for being here. How are you?
Yeah, good. I'm also a frontline worker. Been at work today doing frontline stuff.
I should
Real
have
life
added
horrors.
Huh?
Real life horrors.
Real life horrors, yes. Hence the wine.
Hence the big old glass of wine.
Yeah. Cheers.
Drink away the pain. How we laugh.
Yeah.
How we laugh, because if we don't laugh, we will cry. Yeah, everybody well, everybody good, everyone's got an alcoholic beverage. It's party time up here in the Horror Hangout. We got no Luke. I thought we should mention that for regular listeners because they might be like, what the hell? He just skived off. He said, I fancy a skive. Can I skive? And then he's off. Oh, he's busy with work apparently, but who knows?
You have to mention it when someone's off because of work reasons, because if you just don't mention them, people will assume they've been cancelled. Yeah, unfortunately, had some pretty outrageous views, so we're not allowed to talk about him anymore.
We'll just forget he exists. That's what you got to do. Just don't mention them. Don't look directly into the sun. Just forget they exist.
If someone's cancelled, they fade away like Marty McFly's parents in a photograph, and that's it. They're gone.
Oh, what a way to go.
It's his siblings that fade away.
Oh, of course, his siblings.
Oh, come on, Andy.
Come on, man.
Oh, mistakes like that will be me that's disappearing. My hand will start to go transparent.
You won't be able to play guitar well again. You know, assuming you can play well now.
Can you play guitar? Can you shred? Can you shred, Andy? I reckon you might be. You look like the kind of guy who can secretly shred, and you can't. Disappointing.
No, played Guitar Hero once when I worked at Game. Got pretty good.
Oh yes, I've never been good at that.
I beat Streets of Rage 4 last night. I was very excited.
What a game! It's so good.
It's really hard.
It's excellent.
I think
who's your favorite?
I always play as Blaze because she's sexy. She's got the big boobs.
She's got
my original guy Adam from number 1.
Yeah.
But I like the new characters as well.
Yeah,
like
Cherry was good.
Smashing people in the face with her guitar. Yeah. I think Adam is almost like overpowered to a ridiculous degree. As soon as I unlocked him, I was like, oh my God.
That's why I like it. It makes the game easier and therefore more fun.
There's some DLC coming out as well, isn't there? Where you can play as bad guys and stuff.
Oh.
Very exciting. Very exciting.
I have to play Streets of Rage 4 again.
Have we got any horror news this week? I'm asking you, Andy, but it's supposed to be me prepares this, isn't it? God, so much pressure.
I mean, I can take the ball and say, Ben, have you found any horror news this week?
Found some. Got a couple of bits. Has anybody else seen anything this week of note? I'm just clawing.
I think our challenge is because let's acknowledge it that we recorded only like 4 days ago, right? So there's not been much time for news.
No, I mean, no news has happened, it would seem. I mean, there's been some stuff, but usually we give it a week and then I manage to find some interesting
a little more.
Tidbits. Tidbit. Is it tidbit? It is, isn't it? It's not titbit.
A bit of tid.
A bit of tid or a bit of tit, depending on how you're feeling. So, horror news. I've seen one gaming thing. We discuss horror gaming now and again on this podcast. I thought we'd do it again. Apparently, EA have reportedly announced that they're going to be resurrecting an established IP, and rumors all over them Twitters are suggesting it could be Dead Space. And apparently, a lot of gaming journalists have latched onto it and seem to think that's what it'll be. So that could be exciting. Andy, how do you feel about that? Do you like Dead Space?
I'd like it to be Dead Space. I did 1 and 2, and I didn't finish 3 just because it felt a bit hollow. But I will one day. You know, all these games that you intend to finish and films you intend to watch and books that you intend to read. It's on that pile.
the never-ending list. What about you, Alice? Are you a horror gamer? You obviously done some Streets of Raging.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't played Dead Space. My favorite game they did release recently, which is Stubbs the Zombie. I don't know if you ever played that, but I love that game so much. Which is like a futuristic 1950s zombie romance comedy horror game, which is basically everything I love in a game.
Amazing.
You play as a zombie and you have to kill this 1950s town, futuristic, so it's got like flying cars and robots and stuff. It's really fun.
I remember it being fun. Like when I used to work at Game back in the early 2000s, there was a lady, shout out to Mrs. Stubbs. Mrs. Stubbs used to come in, and it was massively delayed with Stubbs the Zombie. So Mrs. Stubbs came in at least twice a week for about a year and a half to ask when Stubbs the Zombie was coming out.
Wow.
Was her name actually Mrs. Stubbs?
Mrs. Stubbs. Shout out Mrs. Stubbs. If you're still knocking around and listening to podcasts now. She wasn't a classic gamer. She was a lady probably in her 60s then. So
was she only interested in the game because it was called Stubbs the Zombie?
She used to come in all the time, not just for Stubbs the Zombie. But yeah.
But mainly.
But mainly. It was the
mainly
big
for
thing she was looking forward to. This was her Duke Nukem Forever. She was.
I love it. It's so funny. And like even now, like I hadn't played it for like a good 10 years before it was released. But even like occasionally, like little lines would pop in my head, like that was my second favorite arm, which I just think is funny. And how will I juggle? And you'd rip people's arms off.
Oh, I didn't know it would actually. I knew it was coming, but I didn't know it was out. I might have to go in on that.
I think you perhaps mentioned that on the last episode you joined us for, which was the basket case episode, Alice. And I think before then it was like before it was going to be released, so now it has been released. I'm glad to hear it.
You were Mrs. Stubbs.
Could I just before this?
Maybe I'm like a time traveling old lady. And I don't know.
You're the woman going into the shop asking Andy Conduit Turner whether the game Stubbs the Zombie has been released yet.
I've also been playing a lot of Pac-Man 99, and I've got to 2 on the board.
Oh.
I've beaten most people, but I haven't quite got to number 1 spot yet.
Oh wow! I only got a Nintendo Switch this week, so I've only played it like a handful of times.
Yeah, it's good. Pac-Man is my like ultimate arcade game. I used to spend a lot of time in arcades, and I used to like head straight to Pac-Man.
Get out the way, losers.
Yeah, put my little coin on. Knock everyone else's coin.
Knock everyone else's off so aggressive.
Smash.
Didn't see that.
Yeah, so talking about Dead Space. So I think the company that made it, Visceral Games, was closed by EA 4 years ago. So if this is going to be a new Dead Space, that'll be very exciting. How many years ago did the third one come out? I'm not sure.
12, I don't know.
12. Some years ago. So yeah, it'd be great because obviously survival horror gaming is bigger than ever. Maybe not bigger than ever, but big. So I think it would be great for it to be released in the current gaming climate. Very nice. I'm sorry, I'm scraping the bottom of the barrel for horror news. I couldn't find much. Oh wait, here's something. French filmmaker Julia Dorquet. This is me ruining
the lady
names.
that made Raw.
The lady that made Raw, Julia Dorcournois. That sounds good. That sounds right. That sounded right.
Yeah, it was.
That's right.
Approach it with confidence, Ben. No one's going to correct you.
So her solo feature debut, Raw. She's announced her next film is going to be called Titan. So plot details are still under wraps apparently, but there's some interesting imagery of a young girl in some sort of metal head thing. Medical thing, that's what it's called. So Titan apparently refers to a metal highly resistant to heat and corrosion with high tensile strength alloys. So maybe like some weird body horror thing, but I guess like Raw was, I guess obviously it was a horror movie, but one very solidly in reality. So maybe that's I'm sort of going for a medical horror with this. That'd be interesting. I enjoyed Raw. Has everybody seen that?
Yeah, I loved Raw.
Hey.
I actually went to the premiere.
Oh really?
Oh, very nice. Tell us about that, please.
It was good. They were there. They talked about it.
Amazing.
You're hanging on every word.
Did you say her name at any point?
Yeah, she did. Yeah, she did. She went, my name is
where was the premiere?
In London somewhere. I can't remember. It was the before times, before I had kids. I don't remember that.
The before times. The before just one glass of wine before those times.
Yeah.
Double before, pre-COVID, pre-kids.
Yeah.
Oh,
different universe, effectively.
Yeah.
How things have changed.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'll be looking forward to that. That'll be nice. There is a trailer, but I'm probably going to avoid it. I avoid all trailers these days. I used to be a trailer whore, and now I've become a trailer. What's the opposite of a whore?
Priest.
Priest. I've become a trailer priest. So avoiding that. What else we got? So don't know if anyone's still on the bloody Walking Dead train. Is everybody firmly off of that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, apparently there's new images and official synopsis for the final season. Who's even left alive? I don't know. Just from looking at these images, it looks like Carol's still alive.
Carol.
Well done,
Good
Carol.
for you,
Well done, Carol.
Oh, Maggie's still alive, and apparently Daryl Dixon's still alive. I thought I'd heard that they killed him off. Oh, and so is Negan. Yeah, so it's really strange that everyone kind of fell off the same. Like everyone kind of gave up, didn't they? I think everyone
gave up super early. I finished season 2. I was like, nah.
I read 17 of the comics, and then I think I did 3 seasons, and then it just became like a soap opera. It's just like, I'm not really.
I did more of the comics. I think I made it to 100 odds. I got quite far in those. I took a load on holiday, and I just blitzed through in a hammock.
Yeah.
Relaxing. Apparently they're doing like a colored version of it now as well. Did you hear that?
Yeah.
I don't know if they're doing it for all of them or if they're just doing a few volumes, a few issues, but that would be pretty cool.
It all depends how well they sell. People buy them, they'll do the whole mess of them.
Yeah.
Whole mess of them. You can read in the hammock.
Maybe they'll do the 50 Shades of Grey thing and rewrite them all, but from the perspective of the zombies. Just cashing in on that.
There's a new 50 Shades of Grey book, isn't there? I saw it in the shop the other day and I was like, what the hell's that? It looks 50 Shades of Grey-ish.
I haven't read them. I used to work in a bookshop, but
yeah,
don't know why I know about them.
The only thing I know about 50 Shades of Grey, apart from the obvious, is that Mr. Grey has a rival that tries to sabotage his helicopter. This is the character I want to know more about. Helicopter saboteur.
What's his name?
Don't know.
What's his name? Mr.
Maybe it's like
Turquoise.
Yeah, Mr. Turquoise. Yeah, I'm trying to think. What's the opposite of grey?
I guess turquoise is right because turquoise seems very vibrant.
Yeah. Maybe instead of Christian grey, it's like Catholic pink.
The opposite of Christian Grey wants to kill him in helicopter crashes. Right. TM. The 3 of us are writing this.
Wasn't 50 Shades of Grey like Twilight fan fiction originally?
Yeah, originally.
Oh, and then someone just went, "This is good shit. Make it delete every time it mentions what's the Twilight guy, Edward Cullen, and replace it with Christian Pink." Very nice. What was I talking about again?
I've lost track.
Yeah.
Horror news. The first Walking Dead. That's it.
Walking Dead. What are we going? Yeah. The only other thing I've seen is that apparently Wes Craven's Scream is going to get a 25th anniversary 4K Ultra HD release in October. Hopefully, when they do these releases on Blu-ray, it coincide it with a cinema release of the 4K version. So that would be nice to see Scream on the big screen because I never did because I was too young.
Classic sleepover horror movie.
Yeah.
The ultimate.
That and Candyman for the sleepover classics. Back in live day, yeah.
Did you ever, were you in the era, Alice, were you then daring people on the sleepovers to go and see how many times you can say Candyman?
Oh yeah, I was always the one doing it. I was like, yeah, I love Tony Todd, he's a great guy. I'll summon him.
She's crazy. And here he is, like he's there in his LA mansion. Oh God, his bleeper goes.
He's just sauteing some asparagus and poof, he disappears and he's just got to go to some teenager's bathroom.
And it's like, this is incredibly awkward.
Not this again.
It's
incredibly awkward.
My asparagus is gonna burn. Send me back.
Can I use your phone to phone my wife and have her say Candyman 5 times?
Oh,
It's
is that how it
the fastest way
works?
home.
No, he's got to get a flight back.
You can't, it's one way.
He's like, oh, bloody, I didn't even bring my passport. Gutted. Absolutely gutted. He's stuck living with you for the summer, Alice. That's a film I'd like to see. Just like a, but sort of like a
Tony Todd hanging out.
Sort of like a buddy cop film, like the original Odd Couple.
At first, he really doesn't want to be there because he was summoned and he's pissed off about that asparagus. But over time, he warms to you.
Yeah. I show him how I make my asparagus. He's like, I've never thought of putting lemon on it. This is amazing.
It's blown my mind.
A little bit of honey on it because of the bees. Because of the bees.
Of course.
That's awful.
Start
That's
a horror
it.
recipe book. That'd be it. The Candyman's asparagus. Honey.
Horror recipe book. That has got to exist, surely.
He could strap 5 of them to his hook and make a new hand and new fingers.
Asparagus fingers.
Oh my god. There are horror recipe books. There's too many.
But there's tons of Hannibal stuff, right?
Too
You
many
get
bloody
an entire
mention.
volume.
Oh my god. There's a horror recipe book called the Necronomicon Nom Nom.
Necronomicon.
Necronomicon. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. I'll give that a solid B.
You say that, Ben. You say there's lots of horror cookbooks, but is the one that's by us? No, which means there's still room in the market. Let's get to it.
Yeah, the horror. Yeah, I'm not going to put the name out there. Someone might steal it. Let's have a brainstorming session. Think about this. The first dish going on the menu is Tony Todd's asparagus fingers. 100%. Honey glazed asparagus fingers. Wonderful.
Freddy Krueger's Welcome to Prime Rib Time, bitch.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's how he does all his recipes. Any Freddy Krueger recipe has to end in that.
That's enough now. Don't give all the ideas away in one go because, that'll be that. Right. What's next? What we've been watching. Has anybody seen anything this week? Or Alice, as you haven't been on the podcast for a while, it can be longer than a week. It could be just over the last
9
few
months.
weeks.
Well,
What have you watched?
I did go and see Cruella. God, I've had half a glass of wine and I think I'm actually quite pissed. I've not drunk in ages. I saw Cruella, not because I particularly wanted to, but the time worked out. I had a free morning, and actually, I quite enjoyed it. I had no expectations, and it was much better than me thinking it would be dog shit. So, I quite enjoyed it. The clothes are quite fun, and there's like a punk aesthetic and stuff. So yeah, it's fine.
I've heard it's got a lovely soundtrack as well.
Yeah, and then I've seen quite a lot of movies. I saw Limbo, which is a film about people seeking asylum in a small town and being placed in a small town in Scotland, and that was like so funny and so like funny but also really like sad, but a really good film to look out. Limbo, if you can see it. And what else have I seen? I have seen some stuff recently. Let me just sneakily look on my letterbox and just
I've seen some stuff. Yeah, while you're doing that, have you seen anything else, Andy? Have you seen anything at all? Sorry.
I watched, my wife had it on yesterday when I was in the room, and I think that's counts well enough. There's a film on Netflix, a thriller called Strange But True.
Oh, yeah.
It's about a young man. He is the older brother from Jurassic World. He's hanging out at home. He's got a bum leg. And then his dead brother's ex-girlfriend turns up, and his brother's been dead for a couple of years. And she's pregnant, and she has never been with anyone else, so she thinks it's his ghost baby.
Sure.
Yeah.
This is the old bloody Virgin Mary situation again.
Yeah, she gets Virgin married, and she's having a ghost baby. I mean, are either of you gonna watch Strange But True? I can spoil it for you.
When you said Strange But True, then I thought it was the paranormal documentary from ITV in like the 90s.
William Riker saying if things are true or fake.
Michael Aspel. Michael Aspel presented it. That's something else.
Something else. But no, it isn't strange but true in that sense, because what is happening is a true. She is not having his baby. It turns out William Stryker from X-Men 2, he was a policeman and he was looking after her, but he's actually been rohypnoling her and he got her pregnant. Then he accidentally kills his wife by pushing her down the stairs when she finds out. Then he hits the other boy with a spade. But don't worry, his mum and dad, who are estranged, they make up and they come back together to save him in the nick of time. And everything's fine in the end. The guy kills himself, so the bad man kills himself, so everything's tied up in a nice little bow.
It sounds smashing. Not going to watch it.
You don't need to. You don't need to anymore.
I watched Mortal Kombat.
Oh.
Mortal Kombat.
Now we have different opinions of this one. I love the original. What did you think of the new one?
I thought all the scenes where people died were great. I mean, that's why I was watching it. So I think they did the executions well, but the rest was filler.
Yeah.
With some enjoyable lines throughout.
Ben is a big fan of it, and his favourite character is new character Cole Young.
Yeah, I mean,
don't put bloody words in my mouth. All I remember saying is that his costume looks like a basket. It looks like his costume's been weaved at the finest basket, which is great armor.
I had fun watching it. I made a huge amount of popcorn, and we were like, I wasn't drinking booze, but every time there was like a line from obviously the video game, we were going, "Way, way." So yeah, I had a good time watching it. I don't think I'll ever see it again, but I thought they did the deaths well. I do watch, and I do enjoy watching people die,
especially the old spinny hat death.
The hat one was really good.
Yeah, that was the highlight.
Yeah.
And I also watched Those Who Wish Me Dead, which was
it's 2 for 2 on that. That was similar to Ben's review.
I saw that. It was a shiter. I didn't really understand who I was supposed to be following. It was like 3 films smushed together, and everyone in it was just odd.
Didn't know who you were wishing dead or not.
Yeah, I find I like Angelina Jolie, but if whenever she's in a film, I think it doesn't make any sense that the other characters don't turn to her and go, "My God, you're really good looking." Everyone's just ignoring how good looking she is. She's so good looking. Surely you'd be like, "Oh fuck, man, you're really good looking," and everyone's just ignoring it. It's mental.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I can't deal with this peril right now. You are distractingly attractive. Would you mind?
Fire while you're smoking hot.
We're burning to death. Is this the time?
Yes, it is. I gotta say it.
I think she was miscast. She had some good lines, but it just felt a bit weird coming from her.
I feel like that film could have done without even her as a character, and the film would have still worked with, some of the other characters, like John Bernthal and his pregnant wife should have been the main characters. I think I was much more interested in their plight than Angelina Jolie getting bloody rope burn on her hands and going on about it for an hour.
When you say about these lines, what are the lines that put you? Loads of her going, "Oh, I'm so plain and dowdy."
I think she's just too distractingly beautiful that people would just be making a cup of tea and then be like, "I can't finish making this cup of tea."
I put the milk in first. Now you see what's happened.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not a criticism of her acting, but it's just too distracting.
Too bloody distracting.
There's worse problems to have. Being too beautiful.
It's an hard life, Angelina. It's an hard life. The only thing I saw this week was I had a little cinema trip last night to watch bloody musical. I'm kind of like a really casual fan of musicals. I'll kind of watch one once in a blue moon, but I do seem to always have fun with them. So I'm surprised I'm not more of a musical fan. But I watched that film In the Heights, which is like a Broadway musical, I think, isn't it? Like a film adaptation of that.
How is it?
On Broadway? Yeah. So it's about sort of like Latina community in Washington Heights in New York. It's all about like chasing your dreams and falling in love and all of that stuff. And it's good. It's got some good songs. What's his name from Hamilton? Wrote a lot of the songs, apparently. A lot of the what's his name?
Miranda.
That's it. And he pops up every now and again as well. Yeah, a good feel good film. I recommend it. Check it out.
I go and see it. I like a sing song.
I like a sing song as well.
It's just frustrating that life doesn't work quite that well. As if if everyone had just learned their choreography, then my life could be interesting like that.
Yeah.
It would get pretty tedious, I reckon, pretty soon.
I think you'd never have to go to the gym. You'd be so fit. You're just walking down the street and there's like a big musical number.
Yeah, but you'd be going somewhere, and then you would get going somewhere fast, and you'd get like drawn into the musical number. You're like, oh, I've got to be in the background, have I?
You'd factor it in if that was just the world. Bosses would understand.
Bosses would have entire songs about how they need to, the mismanagement of the team and how everyone needs to work on timekeeping.
Corporate buzzword songs. Is that what we're saying?
Straighten up and fly right.
Jesus. We know Andy's starting his morning meeting tomorrow.
Yeah.
Right, okay, guys, this is a little bit out there, I know, but we're going to do a song, and you should all know the words. What?
And the choreography. This is going into your reviews, guys.
If you don't do well, it will be brought up in your appraisal.
Yeah,
it will. And
Solid made the company millions of dollars, but was 2 beats behind on our medley number in Q3. So
Pete, stop doing melancholy numbers. Be more upbeat. Pete's just in the background being like, someone stole my stapler.
Tom's eating my lunch again.
Yeah. No one's washing up their cups and someone keeps cooking fish in the microwave.
Fish in the microwave.
No way. Do people still do that?
Oh, the things we miss from people not being offices anymore.
Don't miss that.
People do it.
Sometimes I do fish in my microwave just to remember, just so I can feel something. Remember what it's like to be in a fucking office full of twats. Sorry. What else? That's it. That's all I've seen. Has anyone else seen anything nice? Is that it?
Horror related, I saw a seagull dragging a dead rat, but that wasn't a film. It was just real life.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Where was it? Where was it dragging it to?
Just across the road, from one side of the road to the other.
Amazing.
You stop and show the kids and say, look, circle of life. Take it in.
Like, the kids weren't with me, but you just reminded me the other day, like my son Ash absolutely loves fire engines. We saw a fire engine and I was like, look, a fire engine, and I was like, oh shit, there's obviously a tragedy. Don't look. Like, don't point out the fire engines. Just someone coming out on a stretcher and this burnt building. Tip for any people who might be parents one day: see a fire engine, just don't.
That's it.
Really specifically engineer it so they only like them when the sirens are off.
Yeah. We're just rescuing a cat, it's fine, we'll go past really quickly, bye.
So, apart from this week's movie, which is Pieces. This was a first time watch for me. I think it was a first time watch for you, wasn't it, Andy?
It was. First time I've ever seen Pieces. I don't know how. From the content we're going to cover, I'm not sure how this has passed me by all these years, but
you avoided it. Okay, so Pieces is a 1982 slasher film directed by Juan Piquer Simón. The co-eds of a Boston college campus are targeted by a mysterious killer who is creating a human jigsaw puzzle from their body parts. Delicious, lovely, terrifying. What have we got? On IMDb, it's at 6.1. Rotten Tomatoes, 46% critic score, 51% audience score. On Letterboxd, it's got 3.2 out of 5, which is nice. Choice reviews. Here's one that stuck out to me. There's a user called Belial Carboni.
Oh!
And Belial Carboni says, the granddaddy big nasty of all 80s slashers, which is like, that should be the tagline. I know it's got a pretty good, it's got an all right tagline. That should be its tagline. Granddaddy big nasty of all 80s slashers. Someone called Dax Cheney says, The most beautiful thing in the world is smoking pot and fucking on a waterbed.
It's at least top 3.
I mean, that's a line from the movie. They've just he can't take credit for writing that.
You can't take credit for that. Get that off the letterbox, you fake. And then Mondo Cinema say Orson Welles, Steven Spielberg, Hitchcock, eat your hearts out. Pieces is the greatest thing ever put to film. Big words. So there we go. That's that.
More articulate than the usual letterbox reviews that Luke pulls down.
You know
sometimes.
what? I tried to find some interesting 1 and 2 word reviews or some actual shit show reviews, but I couldn't really find any on this. It seems like Pieces, everyone's quite respectful of the movie. Yeah.
Half-star ones that just say like your mom, or like this put me off cinema forever. What was that the other week? There was someone who was like, I will never watch a film again.
Yeah. If this is what films are, then I'm over it.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, no.
I'll stick to Morris dancing. Thank you.
So obviously, Alice, you've seen this before.
Yeah.
What is your relationship with the movie Pieces?
So I introed it for Bristol Bad Film Club. When I was a teenager, I got like really into video nasties, and I basically made like a checklist. And it's just like, yes, I'm going to do them all in alphabetical order. And yeah, it's quite a short movie. It's if you're into horror and you like it sleazy and bloody, then yeah, this is an archetypal horror movie, really. With lots of boobs and blood and body bits and penis. There's a penis, hooray.
Yeah, equal opportunities needed to. Well, not equal. It's only one versus many.
Do you know what? Do you know what I realised? So I've chatted to you guys about sleepaway camp, about basket case and this, and all 3 of them have full frontal male nudity.
There's a pattern.
Which is nice. Yeah.
We just go, right, who can we get to talk to about this movie?
Some full frontal male nudity in this. Get Alice back on it.
Get Alice on it. Come on. We know you want to. Yeah. So obviously, Andy, you've not seen this before. I've not seen it before, so it was very interesting. I kind of didn't really know much about it, but I understand it's got a bit of it's a co-production, isn't it, between like Spain, United States, Puerto Rico.
Yeah, a couple of countries.
But it's obviously dubbed. I watched the dubbed version. So
So they recorded it. So some of the actors spoke Spanish, some of the actors spoke English, but then dubbed their lines again afterwards. So it does have quite a weird like aesthetic. So sometimes, so it's quite a weird thing to watch. But like Christopher George and Lynda Day like read their lines in English, but then dubbed over them afterwards as well.
Just to be thorough. That's literally it. So cast wise, you've got Christopher George as Lieutenant Bracken, Lynda Day as Mary Riggs, Frank Braña as Sergeant Holden, Paul L. Smith as Willard. You don't want to get a fight with him. I just kept thinking that. I was thinking he'd crush my head like a tiny little grape. And then obviously loads of college kids. I don't want to. There's such an intense list of cast here. Well, who's the main character really? I guess it's Kendall James, isn't it?
Kendall, yeah. Could you get me another?
Ian Sera as Kendall James, Edmund Purdom as Dean Foley, who is the Dean.
The crusty old Dean.
The crusty old Dean. Crusty old Dean. There's someone who looks a lot like Ron Burgundy. This is Professor Arthur Brown. Not just the hairstyle, not just the mustache, like his whole get-up. I was like, surely Will Ferrell must have seen something of him.
He's quite stiff, isn't he? He's a bit.
Yeah. I as someone who'd not seen this film before, and obviously we are going to spoil Pieces heavily. We're going to discuss the whole plot. I thought it was him straight away. I just had a little inkling.
I suspected him. It's because he had a similar tank top.
Well, that's the only reason.
So I was like, oh yeah, in 40 years, you're still wearing roughly the same outfit.
Oh, okay. I see what you mean. So you thought
when you find a style that works, you stick. But
yeah, you just got to stick to it. That's true. And then obviously there's a lot of cast of people who are murdered. A lot of people get murdered, like a lot. The body count is because sometimes in slasher movies, you can kind of, sometimes you watch a slasher and you're like, that's a bit weird because only like 4 people got killed. Everyone kind of like gets away, survives or something. This is like pretty much everyone who comes up against the killer has got no chance.
Like 3 people have had it in the first 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Yes, it's bloody intense. But I like that. I like the fact that he's got quite a good record of murders. Are there any sequels to this?
I don't think so, no.
I don't know. Okay, that's interesting. Yeah,
I mean,
so
it'd be a very different sequel. But if the end's anything to go by, we'll come to it.
Oh yeah. Oh my god, yeah. What on earth?
I was left literally mouth open at the end. I was like, oh,
I
I
mean,
did not see that coming.
I was mouth open at probably a dozen moments in this film.
The first 5 minutes, if we're honest.
Yes. So the film opens in 1942. There's a 10-year-old boy named Timmy.
Classic 10-year-old boy name.
Classic 10-year-old boy name. And Timmy, what do you do to pass the time when you're alone in your room? Well, he's got a lovely jigsaw puzzle of a naked lady, which I think it belongs to his dad, right?
Yeah, that bastard.
Oh yeah, that bastard. Also, bastard. How many times do we get that? How many times do we get that word dropped in this
bastard
movie?
Towards the end, there is.
Bastard.
I think maybe when we finish at the movie, we could have a quick screen test and see who can do the best bastard.
That's a great idea.
Psych yourselves
That
up
is a
now.
great idea.
We'll see who can do the best bastard. I win. My wife tells me, if I get a text from my wife telling me to be more quiet because it's getting late.
Can you please stop shouting bastard again, Andy? It's becoming a
daily
regular
occurrence.
thing. It's problematic. So yeah, he's doing a lovely jigsaw puzzle of a nude woman. He seems to be quite into it. It looks like a challenge as well, I'll be honest.
It's a hard jigsaw because most of it is just plain pink background.
Yeah. Which he started with.
Start with the background, filling the lady as a treat at the end.
He's a bloody genius.
I mean, I always do the edge, but he's done the edge. Might as well do the rest of the pink stuff. So.
Yeah, you'd think actually, if you were dead into that picture, you just look at the picture on the box, right? But then it's a plain box, so you could buy it discreetly.
Oh yeah.
So if his mom is looking at the thing, you just think, oh, it's his jigsaw of like flower prints.
Yeah, bloody loser. Obviously, he's got 3 key pieces ready to go of the bush and
yeah. He's saved genitals for the last couple of pieces. And what he's singing himself a little song. He is having a whale of a time in World War II. He isn't worried. He's just filling in his jigsaw. But then we've all been there. You know, Ben.
World War II. This film it says 49. When did you think we finished?
Oh, I thought Ben said 43. Sorry.
It says 42 here, but maybe it was.
Oh, okay. I misheard then. Oh, I was making fun of you prematurely.
Oh, don't worry. There'll be plenty of reasons to.
Well, it's got to be because if he's dead, by the time the killer's revealed, obviously we won't reveal it straight away. He is getting on a bit.
It's 40 years later, but right, and it would track because his dad's away in the RAF.
Yeah,
which you would only do. They're just sitting doing nothing, and there's not a war on.
Yeah, just chill out. His mum comes in. I mean, to be fair, she's probably a bit too angry at Timmy. He's only a kid who's just discovering his sexuality, and he's probably only doing what he saw his dad do. His dad probably did the puzzle in front of him and gone, "Oh, can you just help me out with this, son?" And I feel like the mum's got more of a problem with the dad than with Timmy, but Timmy gets the bloody blunt end of it.
Yeah, to be fair, the actions he takes in a few moments, it's really only endemic of the home life that he's saying. His mum does threaten, if I catch you doing a jigsaw again, I will kill you. And then she breaks them, and then she breaks the mirror twice. Or maybe my version just skipped a little bit, but she smashes that mirror twice.
I think she did it once, and then it was the second time was slow motion.
Yeah.
Just in case.
That's important. It's going to come back in a minute.
Yeah, it's Chekhov's broken mirror. it's a triggering moment. But unlike that happens in a lot of films, don't worry, because it happens again in like about 5 minutes. But yeah, that sets him off, and he scampers out of the room. You think he's gone for a cry because his mom's told him off, and now he's gone to get a plastic bag to burn all of his pornographic jigsaws in, which, to be honest, is ill-advised.
Bad for the environment.
Just burn them on the fire. Don't put them in a plastic bag and they'll make the house stink. But no, she's doing that. But he doesn't go to get a plastic bag. What he goes to get, bloody axe.
Oh, bleeding neck.
That's an overreaction, Timmy, isn't it? God.
Do you reckon he planned it, or do you reckon when he was looking for plastic bags, under the kitchen, under the sink in the kitchen where you keep your plastic bags, just stumbled across an axe and thought,
gonna let her have it.
Either way,
nudie jigsaw puzzle.
That is my favourite jigsaw. I'm not going to stand for it. I was almost finished as well.
Do you think he has other games that are pornographic, like pop-up pirate, but instead of a pirate, it's just a penis?
Yeah. Yeah, he's like got penis, pop-up pirate.
Jenga is also just penises.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like a mousetrap that makes like a sex swing.
Yeah.
Hungry hippos, but instead of
they just eat penises.
Balls, instead of little balls, they're eating they're just little testicles.
Yeah.
Anything else?
No.
Monopoly, but it's the red light district.
Yeah, and all the little pieces are just little boobs.
Yeah.
Little
pewter boobs.
Little clitorises and things.
This is do games like this exist? Because I feel like they'd make a killing.
Well, Timmy made a killing. Am I right?
Timmy made a bloody killing. You're gonna burn my puzzle, are you? I'll fuck you up.
Won't give you a chance to, Mom. He says, and he wallops her with the axe right in the old noodle.
Yeah, a couple of times.
Yeah, makes a right old mess. And when the neighbours at the door, is it just a minute?
To be fair, that neighbour's bloody intrusive, isn't she? She's like,
didn't
answer the door, get the bloody police round.
I'm gonna summon the police immediately. It's not like her to not answer the door straight away. So, but don't worry, he has just enough time to complete his jigsaw,
hide it,
put it away, not clean up the room. Unfortunately, it's like an episode of Finders Keepers has been filmed in there. It's a right old mess.
So what does he do? He just saws her. He hacksaws her.
Yeah, he saws her. For those on the video version, in this picture here, he saws her up.
He's absolutely loving it now. He's like, I bloody love this. This is his new favourite game.
Whacks a head in the cupboard, and then he hides in another cupboard. Lots of storage in this house. Very good.
When they resell it, they'll forget about the murders. Be like, there is a lot of storage.
Yeah.
This shelf could have a severed head on it.
Can't take it for granted. You'll go and see a very nice looking house, but where are you going to store anything? Spacious rooms mean nothing all of a sudden. So that house is going to retain its value, even murders or no. He's got time to hide in the cupboard. The nosy neighbour comes back with the police. They immediately break the door down and do the first of what is meant like. Maybe this is the most realistic of all. Lots of people do a good discovering of bodies in this film, where everyone's immediately vomiting and feeling right queasy about it. I go, oh no, and then he just comes out of the cupboard like, oh, the bad man. It's like, well, it's all the evidence I need.
He killed my mum and he done my puzzle. The bastard.
Killed my mum, did we?
Do you think this 10-year-old kid's parents were happy with him being absolutely covered in blood?
Yeah, he was absolutely covered from like head to toe, wasn't he?
Yeah.
The gore.
Like, come here, 10-year-old kid. We're just going to smash blood on you. By the way, you've cut up your mum. Okay, action.
That's great.
Well, he had to be really joyful. Great. Maybe they used the technique of lying and said, right, you've been making a cake. This syrup is everywhere, but you're having a good time. You're having a great time.
What's his severed arm? That's just ignore that. Don't worry about that.
Yeah.
Halloween
Then again, it's the
decoration.
80s. We're gonna have some more cigarettes, kid.
For an 80s, I know it's 82, but this is the most 70s looking 80s film ever. I was convinced it was the 70s. It was just everything about it just screamed 70s to
It's
me.
the color saturation. It's everything.
Yeah, exactly.
Lots of browns in the 70s.
Oh yeah, brown everything, wasn't it? Everyone was dressed in brown. The decoration, everything was brown. Get some other colors for God's sake. What's wrong with you?
January 1st, 1980. You should have changed that.
Yep.
Yeah, that's
Get the neon out. That's why there's neon in the 80s. Everyone's like, why were we wearing brown? Neon.
But what happened there? Because the 60s were super colourful. And then
we used them all up. Everyone's cartridges needed redoing.
And it
But it's like now, if you go and have a look at the youths, guys, they're all wearing white and beige.
Beige?
Yeah, white and beige and grey.
You and your Gen Z, you make fun of us. You're a beige generation. Look, get ready, you guys.
Beige is making a comeback.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the neighbor comes in with the police. They discover the mum's severed head and Timmy covered in blood. The neighbor immediately, she is a super nosy neighbor, immediately saying, "Oh, we'll get the aunt on the phone and Timmy can go live with her." It's like, we only worked out what's happened here yet. This kid's already got somewhere new to live by the end of the day. Jesus.
Yeah. She's a nosy neighbor and head of social services. She just doesn't mention that.
Yeah, I'll tell you who's not head of social services, Timmy's mom, because she doesn't have a head.
She's ill qualified for a job in any government department.
Bloody hell. And then it's like 40 years later, and we start seeing a figure opening a box, which has got some interesting things in it. Some bloodied clothes.
But before that, we see a co-ed skating down.
Of course.
We see a co-ed, I know, skating down the street, and then some guys are just moving some a glass window, as you do. And oh no, she smacks into it. And even though it's never explicitly clear, what's meant to have happened is the killer is meant to have witnessed this, seen this co-ed smash through the mirror. She dies. And he's like, oh yeah, that's like the time my mum smashed a mirror, and then decides to kill people. That's actually what is the plot of this movie.
So he's triggered.
He's triggered. That's what's meant to happen, but it's so murky.
I thought the person on the skates was the same person as the first person he killed.
No, she dies. He witnesses it, and he's like, oh yeah, I remember the puzzle. I remember my mum. I'm gonna go kill some people now and make a human.
Well, so we're supposed to think that for the entirety of these 40 years, he's just been living a normal.
Yeah, he's been a normie. He's gone out and just done normal people stuff. But then he saw a co-ed smash through a comedy window as it was being moved.
It was like,
oh yeah,
it was like a big bit of bendy perspex, wasn't it? It was like,
yeah.
She would have just gone.
Well, she was a very bad skateboarder. Maybe skateboarding had only just been invented, so no one was good at it yet.
She was on skates.
Why no one commented it?
I was on skate.
Skates.
So she was on a skateboard.
Have little rubber stoppers on the front. What's she playing at?
Well, nothing now because she's dead.
If you're skating along, someone gets in your way, you just like stop or something. Don't just go, well, I suppose this is it. This is the end.
Oh, well, I've accepted my fate.
Yeah, I'm heading towards that glass. Better go jugular first.
Lead with the neck. Lead with the neck.
Don't worry, guys. I landed on my jugular. Oh, no.
So then that's when he's like, oh, yeah. Gets out his jigsaw puzzle and then does a daytime murder.
Yeah, it's a proper. I mean, there's a lot of random daytime events happening where no one seems to care. There's obviously a daytime murder. There's some sexual intercourse at one point in the middle of the day, what looks like in the middle of a lovely garden.
A lovely garden.
You've got a lovely garden. You have. Can't wait to.
And that is a scene that means nothing, right? There are some just people humping in the bushes and Bluto's doing that pruning. And he just sort of looks at him and goes.
I feel like the director just took every single opportunity to put some level of nudity or sexual action in, just for the sake of it. Like literally going, this scene's got no boobs, bush, or anything in it. Can we please add some?
He absolutely did. In fact, there's a few scenes where it's just girls dancing in like leotards, and he was like, "Can you guys be naked?" And they were like, "No."
What is it?
Like,
oh, that's
yeah, yes. It was
true.
actually like a dancing troupe that they just hired. They were like, "Oh, you guys all know each other and dance together. We'll hire you." And he was like, "So, can you just do this scene naked?" And they were like, "Obviously not. No, why would we do that?"
He was definitely a Ronin, though, wasn't he?
Is that not how you practice? Funnily enough, Juan, no.
He was like, yeah, young women, they all do that. They get together to do something that they all enjoy, and always end up naked together because that's how the world works.
It's
All
like
right.
an 80s film ethos, right? That whenever groups of like women get together, particularly if they're at college, any activity is subject to being done naked.
Yeah.
Was he just like all of his fantasies he was trying to make come true? What's that? I'm directing a film. Anything I say goes. This bit, everyone's gonna be naked. Well, including us.
I'm glad the dance troupe were like, jog on, Juan.
But I mean, that would have been totally ridiculous. I mean, not that all the other nudity moments weren't unnecessary.
But at least it's people like getting off. I can believe that college students are just going to go, all right, let's have a jolly.
Well, like
although sometimes it can be very annoying if someone is too good at sex and you're too noisy about it. We'll come to that.
But like also when people were getting naked, it was like after they were like getting changed after working out, or they were like having a swim naked, which I kind of guess maybe.
Or if you're having a game, if you're having a game of tennis and then some music comes on and pisses you right off, then you have to
it's pissing me off. But yeah, if that dance troupe just started dancing naked, I think I would have been like, what is happening?
Yeah. So the first person is just sunbathing, and someone just comes up behind her and cuts her bleeding head off.
Yeah. Is it meant to be the person that spoke to before, where it was like, oh, you're gonna be, because she talks to a man up in the tree, and he goes, do I need to move? He goes, oh no, I'll only be a minute.
I don't know.
Dead.
I don't even think the filmmakers know. I think who knows.
So then he just pops on and chops the head off, right? When she's out reading a book in the sunshine.
Yeah, and then they're like, the dean finds out about it, and he's just like, oh, bleeding neck. No, I don't want there to be trouble. Admissions are down. I don't want people to be like, people are going to come here and lose their heads.
Yeah, this is baffling. He always is. He's afraid of a scandal, really, isn't he?
For a scandal.
How would the university be able? Is it university?
Yeah, it's college.
How would it be able? How would it ever be able to cover up? It's essentially covering up murders, because journalists are sort of sniffing around trying to say, I've heard people been getting murdered. Nah, even the police. But like, surely if someone was murdered, their family
someone got their head sawed off by accident, people goes, oh well, sad but understandable. Continue as you were.
There have been 6 murders at the university this week.
6 unfortunate accidents, no scandals.
That reminds me, so this film is called Pieces, but it did have like an alternative title that ended up never really being used, which is The Night of 1,000 Screams, but that doesn't work as a title because it takes place over like 5 nights and it's only about 60 screams accounted.
And there are a few, and obviously the first murder's in broad daylight as well, so
not even nighttime. So few of these murders are at nighttime. So.
Those screams wouldn't even count towards the night having 1,000 screams.
So Pieces is a much better title.
Yeah, Pieces. I would have also accepted The Week of 100 Bastards.
It's just as good a title.
Yeah, so 2 murders in and like about 10 minutes gone. The crusty old dean doesn't want a scandal, so he has a word with Lieutenant, or is he Detective Bracken?
Lieutenant Bracken, and there's a Sergeant Holden, isn't there? Yes. Two old dudes. They've been around a block. They've seen a lot of shit. obviously seen a few murders, and then also they start questioning everybody, don't they?
Yeah. We're going to do some investigating.
We're going to do a bit of investigating. When does Kendall, the young dude, and his mate come into it? What's his mate's name?
It begins with sorry, Alice, you go.
I was going to say, I think that's in our second present day murder. So Kendall's just doing some studying in the library, and a girl throws a note at him and is like, I want to have sex underwater, meet me in the swimming pool. And then he just he's really rude, he just throws her note in the bin. And I don't know if he's planning to, I guess he is planning to me, but he throws a note in the bin, which is where the murderer finds it. And the murderer
sex underwater, no thanks.
Sex underwater? What? How many breaths am I allowed to take? Jesus Christ. He looks at it and he goes, university is for learning, okay? Not for having sex willy-nilly.
I don't even like it when people pee in the pool.
Yeah, I don't want other bits floating around in there.
Yeah.
Other bits.
Plus, the university library's only got one of these Asterix books, and I've got it, so I'm going to stay there until I've read it. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
He's having a bit of a flick through.
Yeah. So anyway, the killer finds the note, so he goes to meet her, and she's swimming. And apparently, so they filmed this scene in December, and apparently the water was genuinely freezing, and they wanted to film her naked for longer, but she was almost going into hypothermia. It seems like the care, the actual filming was very poor on this movie. But anyway, so she's swimming, and then she gets caught in a net, and he drags her out, and I think he
fishes her out.
I think he cuts her arms off.
I think he just gets ahead this one, but he gets someone's arms later. But she just kind of sits. He fishes her out, and she's.
Oh, he gets her torso. That's what he gets.
Yeah, I think he gives her a chopping.
Yeah. I feel like if I was in the swimming pool and somebody put one of those nets on my head, I'd be able to get out of that easily.
Swim
put
down.
it on my head.
Just go,
get the fuck away from me. What's wrong with you?
Yeah.
But she's immediately caught and pulled out of the. So I guess this is the first time we see the killer and his get up, isn't it? With his lovely brogues.
Yeah.
Ill-fitting trousers.
Big Inspector Gadget coat.
And a nice little hat. Black gloves, the classic. It's very giallo kind of set up.
Very shallow. But also, if it was freezing in that swimming pool, he's decked right out. He's definitely not cold.
No, not chilly.
Sorted. He's covered in layers.
But anyway, bloody who should come by after she's been murdered? Bloody Willard. And he's he hasn't bothered turning the lights on. He's very conscientious. He wants to conserve the electricity bill. But he sees his chainsaw. So he's like, I'm just going to go get my chainsaw. And he puts it down, it's a bit wet. And then he looks, oh no, there's blood all over it. The lights go on. There's a chainsaw covered in blood. The police have arrived for some reason. And he just beats the shit out of them.
But thankfully, isn't Kendall and some of the others there to smash him with some wood?
Well, Kendall comes, but also with his friend. He was planning on having sex with this woman. Why has he brought his friend?
Oh yeah, just to keep an eye out.
Yeah.
Just to...
I want you to testify to the fact that I've done this. And
his friend seems to think that Kendall's pretty good with the ladies. What does he call him? He gives him Casanova Kendall.
Oh, this is the bit where he doesn't he summon him to the library going back? So, didn't you go and meet that girl in a swimming pool? And then he asks the other girl hey, what are you doing later? And she goes, dismissed with a withering look. I didn't give a shit. Bye. Just a really passive aggressive walk away.
Didn't even give her a chance to say anything. She's like,
to be fair, all the action's been going on in the library because it was this same scene where we had the whole thing about smoking pot on a waterbed and having sex on it. Best thing ever.
Yes, so good, guys. Best thing ever. So anyway, Kendall turns up with his friend, and he's like, "Oh no!" And then the detective's like, "I immediately like you. Do you want to help me solve a crime?"
Yeah. It is like that, isn't it? It treats him like his little buddy.
He's just and Detective Holden is just
unpaid intern.
What the fuck, dude? He's just he's a civilian. What are you doing? And he's like, I've got a good feeling about this guy.
I like the cut of this kid's jib. You're on the case. And this is when the professor turns up, and this is where I thought he was guilty. because one, we've already seen he dresses a little bit like the child murder from the 40s.
Ron Burgundy.
And then immediately he touches the chainsaw and they go, don't touch the chainsaw, you have contaminated the evidence.
Oh no.
Contaminate the evidence with my fingers touching it.
Oh, weird.
Yeah.
And
that was
my favorite thing about this scene is just the extras in the background, like moving the body parts onto the like gurney, just so awkwardly, just like, well, here's an arm.
Yeah.
Watch all the extras in this movie. They're amazing. It's just people going.
So Willard, who's arrested and believed to be a suspect, obviously does fight the police first, probably not doing himself any favors.
Kicks one into a pool.
He's an absolute serious unit of a man. I would not want to try and go near him. He just he throws I don't know, he headbutt one and then
this is, I mean, it's going to give away who the murderer is if I say this, but a little bit. He's not the murderer, because this was the only scene that he would do that had any blood in. Like, there's a bit where he touches, like, he didn't want to be on screen with any blood.
Because he was queasy, or just
principles.
Didn't like horror movies. I only did this as a favor for the producer, I think. Or
he said,
I'll do your horror movie, but no blood, mate.
I won't do any blood, but I want to at least headbutt a police officer, punch a police officer, kick a police officer in the nuts, because ACAB is what he's saying.
And I want to polish a chainsaw.
Oh yeah. Can I polish my massive tool?
I'll do some pruning. I'll keep the set looking tidy while I'm there.
This film does do a good job of like building the mystery and making you suspect people without anything being too obvious. I think
there's at least 2 red herrings of who it is that we can mess with. Our friend Willard being one of them. And there's some great little incidental bits for a film that has such pace with what it does with how many murders there are on screen. They're also like pointless asides when the crusty old dean comes to see Willard, and it's like, you finished pruning those trees yet? And he's like, oh no, but don't worry, I've quoted you for the job, not for the hours, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And he's like, he's like, but if you finish the job sooner, you can take another job. And he's like, that is how business works. Thank you.
Helping each other out. Lovely. So now we've had 2 people dead, and we see like a shot of our killer building a lady, like the puzzle. It all makes sense now. Pieces.
And he's doing the jigsaw at the same time.
Pieces. And then we see the next bit that he's making, and I think that's when it's arms. Is that right? So like, we've got head and we've got boobs. We've got head and boobs. Now we're on arms.
So he needs to collect arms next. But the police have a cunning plan. They're going to send any available undercover policewomen / professional tennis players that they have available.
Ex-professional. I love. So Lynda Day was married to Christopher George at the time. On screen,
really?
On screen husband and wife. They were married for like 12 years until his death.
Oh wow, didn't know that.
Yeah.
How many scenes did they get together? Just
a few. So there's this. So they get into, like, Kendall comes to the police station and he introduces what's Linda's character called? Like
Mary Riggs.
Mary Riggs, yeah, the original Riggs. No, yeah. And he's like, oh, this is Mary, she's going to be undercover. And then he's like to Kendall, this professional police lady, can you keep an eye on her?
Yeah, because I can only afford one undercover police person right now.
If I was
only going to send the one.
If I was Kendall, I'd be like, can I please be on the payroll? Because I'm doing admin. I'm doing.
No, but that's not the point. The point is she is a professional policewoman. She has had the training. She doesn't need protection. This is outrageous.
More training than most. She's had tennis training and police training.
Yeah.
She loves tennis so much, though, she might get distracted, is what he's saying.
Yeah. And then is it my favorite scene of the whole movie? We see her like undercover playing tennis with someone. Is that the next scene?
The only thing that's in between it is we get our first scene of the, unfortunately for you, Juan, fully clothed leotard people dancing.
Oh yes,
And the murderer's watching them, but he hasn't made his move yet.
He's waiting for one of them to be on their own.
He's seeing who can do jazz hands the best.
Yeah, because that's the bit he wants.
Yeah, exactly.
These arms better be bloody good.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is where you get your favourite then, Alice, the tennis scene where we get a couple of repeated shots where they definitely hit the ball.
So so there's a scene where they play tennis and it's fairly long. You know, it's not just like hit. Like it goes on for a while. But if you watch, you realise it's the same footage played 4 times, I think, maybe 5 times.
Yeah.
And it's because the director Juan Simón thought everyone in California could play tennis. He just made that assumption. So when he found out they couldn't, he was just like, I'll just repeat the footage. But they did their best. They had some training and stuff, but they play it very badly.
Literally everybody is watching as well. Everyone who's anyone is watching.
The entire school is out.
But it's so funny to watch when you realise it's just the same shots over and over again.
Initially, I didn't realize. You told me to look out for that moment. I was watching. I was like, "Are these the same shots?" And it went on for so long that I was like, "Oh, okay, yeah, I get it. This bit again, right? Yeah. Oh, and that bit, okay, yeah, brilliant." Whoa. You'd think that the one who lost would be able to work out what was coming next and not lose the point.
Yeah, exactly. And then there's a line where she's like, "That young lady gave me quite a workout," and it's like, did she? Like, it's just people stumbling for like.
That's what she was promised though as well when she was talking to Detective Bracken, saying, this is going to be a load of hard work. She says, what do you mean? You're going to have a great time playing tennis all day.
Yeah. I love the fact also, so like I can't remember if the dean knows she's an undercover cop or not, but like they're just like, oh yeah, we this week hadn't planned it, but now we've got a professional tennis coach, by the way. Like, that is not how you employ someone. Like,
he's after those admissions. He needs to offset the murders.
Yeah. We've got a professional tennis player.
That is pretty good.
After this, a reporter turns up, Sylvia Costa.
Yeah.
And she's managed to sniff something out. She thinks that there's been a couple of murders here. How many murders have there been so far? 3?
So there's been a terrible accident. A terrible accident, a headless girl, and a swimming pool murder.
Yeah. So clearly,
2 murders and a terrible accident.
Some shit's going down. But the police try to just completely throw off the scent and just say, nah, what? Nah. Crazy. They're gaslighting her.
Yeah.
Maybe you think there's murders. Maybe you're suspicious. What? No.
Yeah, what? What's your obsession with murders, Sylvia Costa, if that is really your name? And then after this, I think is the killer stalks one of the dancers now when she's alone, getting some extra dance practice in the dance studio. Yeah,
she senses something is wrong and runs for it, but then is calmed when it's, oh no, it's just you, a man in a big long trench coat by a lift. Oh well, going up, I guess.
Who's got a chainsaw behind his back?
Yeah, that's exactly what I thought. Oh, hidden a cheeky little chainsaw behind your back. Yeah, how wide is he?
I know.
Also, with the chainsaw thing, it's an identical chainsaw to the swimming pool murder that the police had. Did they just wipe it down and put it in the shed?
Why wasn't it in evidence?
Bulk buy. He got himself a few.
Yeah.
3 for 2 on the in B&Q. Some lovely chainsaws.
Multiple chainsaws.
And inside the lift, what does he do?
He blooming Monty Python's there.
Yeah, cuts her arms off.
Cuts her bloody arms off.
She doesn't die though. Not immediately, anyway.
If I say, does she stay not dead? Because I was shocked by that scene because Kendall and his mates here and run in, and then there's just a throwaway line of, yeah, she's not dead, but.
Oh, she's definitely gonna die though. There's something like that, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like,
she's not dead, but.
Oh, 1 in a million. Oh, you tell the parents, I did the last one. Yeah, so she doesn't die. She's just got her arms cut off. But like, you don't see any paramedics really. You see the gurney people, but like, it's like, I mean, she's only had her arms cut off. Like, do you maybe want to do something? She's probably gone into cardiac arrest by now.
Got a wet flannel on it.
Yeah,
Dab it.
Do
Is
something.
it all right?
Do something, guys.
Yeah.
Do something.
No, just point out, although we talk about there being no sequels, maybe this is classic sequel bait. She could be the hero of number 2.
Yeah.
Get some robot arms like Jackson Briggs.
What? I'd watch that.
And there's another murder like pretty quick sharp in there the same evening. I think the killer decides to go after the journalist.
Yeah, the journalist comes back a snooping. And this is probably the best, most well shot scene of the movie. There's a bit more flair than in the previous scenes. There's some slow motion, and the waterbed comes back into play.
And obviously a waterbed has been mentioned, so like, right, we got to do a bloody murder on a waterbed.
And most of the kills are with a chainsaw, but he changes it up for the journalist. He goes knife. He's like, yeah, why not?
Yeah.
And
X's waterbed though. No more pot and sex on that for you, mate. It's ruined.
Yeah.
Ruined forever.
So
it's quite. There's like a lot of slow mo during this kill, isn't there?
It's interesting because I don't think he takes anything from her, or does he? Does he take her legs? Maybe. Isn't there something wrong with her?
Is he working his way down? So is this?
He's got the arms. No, like legs come later. I think he might just kill her. I don't think he uses anything.
Maybe just throwing her off the scent. Maybe he's like, there's a journalist sniffing around us there.
She is a bit older than the other co-eds because she's a professional grown-up lady.
At one of your parts is what he said.
Maybe just wants.
I can't remember. I don't think he uses any of her.
Maybe just wants rid because she's snooping around,
puts a knife through the back of her head as well, doesn't he?
I don't think anyone even finds her.
Did you notice during this scene?
I don't remember a scene where anyone finds her. I think she just. No. I just think she gets it really brutally on a.
That knife was flopping about in a few of those scenes. I saw it at one point. He lifts it up and it goes.
Yeah.
It tenses up though enough to go right through the back of her head and out through her mouth.
Right through the back of her head. Gutted.
Yeah.
When is the moment that the probably the most bizarre moment of the film? Is it?
I think it's
tonight.
I think it's the bit we come to after this murder where Kendall is having sex with someone who is enjoying it far too much.
Oh yeah.
He's
got such a weird relationship. He's got such a weird relationship with women, isn't he? He's like, he is a Casanova. Women seem to be attracted to him, but for some reason, he's just like, oh, for God's sake, give it a rest.
This is such a chore. Like, he's
making noise, enjoying our sexual intercourse, are you? Making noise as you orgasm. Grow up.
Literally, it's like, oh, if we can do it again, I'll be really quiet. You can gag me if you like.
Oh, yeah, she does say that. Yeah. And even then, he's like, why would I want to do that?
No thanks, I'm off outside, thank you.
We do get to see his penis though, so
yes we do. This is the penis scene. So he hears a bit of noise outside. He's like, what's that?
I don't reckon the director wasn't on set.
Twitches the curtains and he's having a little peer outside. He thinks there's something going awry here. And Riggs is out walking through campus late at night. And for a moment, we think she is under attack. An unusual assailant comes and karate kicks the gun out of her hand, but she defeats him. And you think, what's this? Is this a new contender for the murderer? But no, it's just some racism. So that's okay.
It's just the kung fu professor.
What on earth was going through the minds of the filmmakers when they decided that this scene was integral to the plot of Pieces? Because it was absolutely mad. I think for some reason, I mean, I hate to admit it, but in the scene just before this, my attention was on something else. I think I was having a conversation about something. So when I suddenly was drawn back in by the action on screen, I was utterly baffled by what was going on.
So I think so. The film wasn't long enough, and they had to pad it out. And then one day, the kung fu professor, whose name is also Jackie Chan but spelt differently, I think.
His name's Jack. E like E Honda Chan.
Just turned up on set one day and they were like, brilliant. And just like do a scene.
It's not right. Can you do? Yeah, but surely just give it a little bit of context. Any remnants of context.
I think Kendall generally goes, oh, it's just my kung fu professor. It's like, what are you taking at this university?
Kung fu and sex.
So
it's very weird.
Yeah, so obviously Kendall comes around on his motorbike first, doesn't he? Which is scaring
a bit
everybody
like a chainsaw.
because there's been chainsaw murders everywhere. So he says, "Hey, it's my kung fu professor, Chow," and Chow like is face down after getting his ass kicked by Mary, and he decides to say, "Oh, I'm all right, actually, I'll stand up," and he just says, he says,
I
was out for my jog, and next thing I know, I'm on the ground. Something I ate, bad chop suey. So long."
Oh my God.
Mother of God.
But you kicked her gun out of her hand and were like fighting her before she like
What? So what we're supposed to believe in this sense is that Chow, the kung fu professor, has had a bit of bad chop suey and he's gone out to walk it off, and then the first woman he's seen, he's thinking, I'm gonna kung fu kick her in the face.
That's it. Maybe the bad chop suey he's had really thrown off his perception, because I would imagine your average kung fu professor, very with it, very together, probably isn't startled too easily. But emotions are running high. There's a murderer around. He's got some form of food poisoning. You see someone, what's the reaction? You're a trained weapon. You're going to kick.
I feel like a kung fu fight would aggravate the bellyache more. Yeah, I feel like I'd want to be still as possible.
When I've got a dicky tummy, I'm on the sofa. I'm not doing high octane martial arts.
I put this to you though. How many of any of us here, when we've had a bad tummy, have we tried doing martial arts?
Oh, mate, I'm not gonna. That's a good point. Another bit that made me laugh after this.
This turns out to be a cure.
Mary Riggs says, "Right, are we off? Oh, let me find my gun first," and it's literally just on the ground in front of her. Let me find it. Oh, there it is. Ridiculous.
And then he gives her a ride home on his motorbike, and despite having sex with at least one person today already, he says, "Oh, you're gonna invite us in for coffee?"
not to be crude, but he hasn't even washed his cock. That's very poetical. I mean, if anyone's watching this and been like, what's the etiquette on cock washing? It's if you've had sex with someone and you have sex with a different person, wash your cock.
Give it a rinse. Yeah. We don't know what he was doing between, getting dressed and starting his motorbike up there. He could have had a quick splash.
Yeah.
But he probably didn't know that he was going to possibly be in another situation where sex was going to be on the cards. Sexual tension between him and Mary Riggs. What's the age difference here, though?
Well, he's college, so I'm guessing he's like 21, and she has clearly had a tennis career and retired and then trained as a police officer. So that's got to be at least, 15, 20 years.
Yeah.
That's right. No judgment here.
Care.
Kendall don't care. He's like, I haven't washed my cock, but Let's
get
it on.
No, he was trying to get ready to go out and see what the commotion was. He looked out the window and he's like, "Oh, can I possibly splash around in the sink?" It's hard because the sink's at crotch height. So do I go?
To be fair, the suggestion of him not having washed his genitals means nothing based on the scene that's happened before. Anything could happen now in the movie, and I wouldn't be shocked or surprised or confused. Yeah. Anything.
You say you wouldn't be shocked, but
yeah.
But would you expect, as someone is just turning down, Kendall's advances, would you expect like a grey werewolfy thing to be behind him?
Oh no!
Yeah, Jesus.
So strange.
Just his mate there, so right.
Just his mate with a mask on, who's followed him back. How did he follow him on foot when he was on a motorbike? Come on. And what's he doing riding a motorbike around the bloody campus? This guy's loose cannon.
Are we suspecting him as a murderer as well? Because he's always in the right place at the right time.
No, I don't think it crossed my mind that he could have been the murderer. Wait, who are we on about? Kendall or the friend? Friendle.
The friend. Friendle.
The friend's just not in it enough, is it? He's just like there twice.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
And his only lines is like, Casanova.
You're right, mate. Oh, Jesus Christ, dude.
Dismissed with a withering look. Don't give a shit.
So the next day, met one of we're at the tennis place again, the tennis court.
Riggs is where the opponent is playing some tennis on her own. She's just whacking the balls over the net against the back fence. And she goes to gather them up when some big fanfare music comes on.
Ugh.
Yeah.
And she is livid. Not after it's been on for hours. One note of that music is enough. She's like,
it's incredibly repetitive though. It's like a 15-second loop over and over again, and I'm becoming annoyed by it.
Yeah, it's like bob, bob, bob. It's just like band music.
Yeah, it goes. I've rehearsed this. It's but
more.
Well, on an endless loop, Ben. But the lady who's playing tennis does not say more. She storms off for an angry shower.
Yeah.
The angriest shower anyone's ever had. So yeah, and here's where another murder happens again in broad daylight, and again like pretty much out in the open where anyone could spot it happening or just walk in on it while it's happening. But Chainsaw Dude does not give a flying flip.
Well, he's put the music on to drown it all right.
He's lured her there, I think, isn't he? Isn't he trying to lure her to the shower?
Yeah, that's right. In many ways, maybe that's why he hasn't got Kendall, because we all know his thoughts on showering after any type of strenuous exercise.
You say strenuous, I don't think he put that much effort in. He doesn't seem like the kind of guy. So obviously they try and get Willard to turn the music off, and he's being a bit shifty as well.
Not in my job description, mate. And it's like, well, can we use the phone in your office to phone?
No one's allowed to use that phone. Oh, you absolute jobs's Give it a rest. You were headbutting police officers like merely days ago, and now
that in your job description.
And now you won't even let someone use the phone. I mean, Willard, where do you get off?
But then he immediately goes for, okay, you're not using the phone, so I guess we will go and turn the music off instead.
Yeah, it's just mad, isn't it?
He's just got to find the line, and he'd rather just go and turn that stuff off than let anyone use the phone.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then we do get a murder. Is she named this?
Susie.
Susie.
Yeah, they were playing tennis together. She was the terrible tennis player.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry, I forgot your name, Susie, but you were shit at tennis, so maybe that's why.
She manages to close herself in a room, and he has to take the time to chainsaw through the door before he can get her. But unfortunately, doors versus chainsaws, there's only one winner.
Yeah. She seems like she's kind of waiting in the corner for something to happen. She's a bit like, "Oh, you're gonna chainsaw me, then, are you? Go on then." And that's exactly what he does. And there is like a close-up shot of him slicing into her like body, like her torso.
Yeah, she gets halved. Like,
that was a pig carcass. I know that.
Was it?
Pig carcass.
So while we don't see her get like totally mutilated, when they do discover the body, she is like absolutely mutilated to such a degree where I was a bit like, oh wow, Jesus, like there's been a certain amount of gore so far, but that was quite unexpected.
Yeah, but unfortunately it's all to no end, because the murderer goes to put the pieces of her onto his collection. The blooming shoes don't fit.
Oh, what are you gonna do?
So obviously at this moment as well, so Mary has just had enough. She's had a guts full. She's like, all these murders are really starting to piss me off. So she yells.
Kendall discovers the body first, and he's like,
oh God, oh no.
He's done it again.
Kung Fu Professor's eye again.
But yeah, you're right. Mary Riggs has got no time for it. What does she say, Ben?
She says, is it bastard or bastards? Bastard. Who's having to go first?
My husband's just watching it in the Heights.
Oh, right, okay. Andy, do you want to recreate the first bastard?
Watching In the Heights without you, say Alice, would you describe his actions as in being a bastard? I won't shout too loud.
Oh, headphones nearly came off. So they get gradually, like first bastard, like she's been cut off in traffic. Second bastard, like she's been cut off in traffic.
On a bit of Lego. Oh,
yeah. A bit of Lego or Meccano. I mean, it depends on which one do you like the best. And then the third bastard is like insane. It's like she's found her husband cheating with the woman next door.
It's almost like she's found a woman cut in half with half the body missing.
Yeah. And how much of a friend was she with Susie? I know someone's been murdered. It's terrible.
She was her student, so even though she's undercover, she was actually teaching her.
You play a game of tennis with someone, Ben. That's a bond.
That's a bond.
I feel like she'd been teaching her for like one day.
Yeah, but still.
Tennis is
a sacred bond. And is teaching someone tennis just beating them at tennis? Is that what we're saying?
Oh, she gave her a good game though. So this is like they're on the same level.
Yeah.
There's a deep respect there.
Let her off.
And so she is absolutely livid. She gives it a to the max bastard.
Yeah.
She is absolutely fuming with him. Yeah, and then I think around about this time is when Kendall again gets roped in to do some police admin work.
Yeah.
He is like cross-referencing or something. It's just...
Lieutenant Bracken has a phone call. And the police, I don't think we've given them enough credit for some of the excellent lines the police come at some point when they're talking to the crusty old dean. He says... I wrote it down. Hang on.
We're just trying on clothes and seeing what fits.
we're just trying on clothes without looking at the labels and see what fits. But yeah, so that's why they need Kendall's help. And he's like, I like the kid. I like his moxie. Yeah.
He's got spunk.
Get him in there.
Because he doesn't bloody wash.
Yeah. This kid's got spunk for days.
This guy stinks. This guy stinks. What's he been doing?
So yeah, they get him in and he works in the evidence room. He goes down with the sergeant they're going to do some more research. They're going to do some detectiving. They're going to look around. I think their big plan is to see if anyone's changed their name.
Yeah. Just see if, everyone's got a file on them that's like, name, have you changed your name? Have you experienced a trauma? Where do you live now? Those are everyone's got a file on them like that, right?
That's what the police keep on record. So they're gonna check it out. So Kendall's off to do that down at like the police thing. And the other thing that the other detective that isn't Bracken does, he hates cigarette smoke, and he makes a point of asking Kendall, "Do you smoke?" He's like, "No, I don't." Good. I'm glad you don't smoke, because I've been giving Bracken shit about it for the entire movie.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. It's so weird.
Yeah. So meanwhile, Mary goes to the crusty old dean, and he makes a big reveal, and he goes, "Oh, Professor Brown, the person we've all been suspecting as a murderer, not a murderer, just gay."
Yeah.
Oh yeah. He does say that, doesn't he?
Yeah.
This film is like so.
Oh, he couldn't be the murderer. He doesn't like women's bodies, cut up or otherwise.
Yeah, obviously, and we all know that. Well, come on.
Oh, because that's the smoking gun for Brown, isn't it? Because he's also an anatomy professor. He knows all about pieces.
Oh yeah.
And his hands are all over the evidence, but he is gay.
Like, no, not him. So. Yeah, he's gay, so he's not the murderer. That's his thing.
Did the director write this film as well? Because
I'm not sure.
It's got toxic masculinity all over it. It stinks of toxic masculinity. This bloody film.
It stinks of unwashed junk.
Stinks of unwashed junk. He goes, "No, keep that bit in the film because I never do that. I never do that. I never wash."
Dick Randall and Roberto Loitola as John Shadow wrote the screenplay.
Dick Randall, and has somebody got
their powers combined to become John Shadow, one entity?
Is that what we're saying? Or was that one of their pen names, John Shadow?
John Shadow is a pen name.
But it's the pen name of both of them together.
Okay, I see what you mean. That's pretty good, actually. I like that. Maybe we should bring it back, me and you, Andy, if we write something together. John Shadow.
Billy Shade.
Billy Shade. Christian Pink. No, not Christian Pink. What's his name?
Timmy Overcast.
Timmy Overcast.
Dave Turquoise.
David Turquoise in. Yeah, I like it. It's almost too good. Don't give away any more ideas. We've already done that with the cookbook.
So
keep them secret.
Now it's reveal time, and we get double reveals. So first, the crusty old dean has invited Mary back to his study, and after he's talked through the fact that it can't be Professor Brown, he goes, "Oh, do you want a coffee? By the way, I'm making a tea because I'm English, don't you know? But you, an American, would prefer coffee." It's like, do you like cream in your coffee? Do you like
drugs in your coffee?
Do you like a little bit of drugs in your coffee? And not only is first of all, it's instant coffee. Ugh. So you just be like, I'd rather drink piss, to be
drugs,
fair.
Please. Yeah.
I'll have some drugs. And he puts drugs in it. But also, when he gives Mary the first cup, she chugs it down. Like,
guzzles it straight out the kettle.
Guzzles a scalding hot coffee straight down. Like, I've never been really thirsty where I've gone, I'll tell you what which will quench my thirst. A lovely hot coffee.
Yeah, she drinks it down faster than she's at a kid's tea party and is given an empty. Ooh, lovely. She guzzles it down straight away and asks for another. Says, "Would you like another one?" And she's like,
"Oh yeah, that was amazing."
Well, if you haven't noticed, Dean, I literally necked that one as soon as she passed it to me.
Who's double parking coffees? That's insane.
Yeah, Dean hasn't even had a sip of his. And she's after another one, and he literally goes, in for a penny, in for a pound, I guess.
Not to have a tangent too much, but I've got a condition called a geographical tongue, which means I can't. It's got like scars on it, and the scars move. It's quite weird, but it means I can't have really hot things. And someone made me a cup of tea once, and I immediately just spat it out. It was so hot. I was just like,
to be fair, that's fairly normal, I think, for super hot drinks. No one's guzzling it down like old Mary Riggs. I didn't mean to do that then. That was inappropriate. Mary Riggs is guzzling it right down. Maybe.
So maybe the whole thing's a spectrum though, Alice. So like if you have like the geographical tongue, maybe Mary Riggs has like the other humanities subject tongue, which means she can guzzle it
asbestos mouth.
Yeah, she's got an RE tongue.
Yeah.
And
I think I've witnessed it before though. I think I've made a hot drink for somebody and seen them immediately take a giant swig, and I've gone, "What are you doing? You need to let it settle. Let it sit for a while."
It's quite like, maybe that's what people who don't drink do, like to show how hard they are. Like, when people are really hard, they just drink a thing of whiskey and then they don't go, maybe people who don't drink are like, even though I don't drink, I'm still hard. Look at me drinking this golden coffee.
Yeah, they do it with any like hot thing. They'll do it with the soup as well. And when the waiter brings out their plates, everyone does it. Careful of that plate, it's really hot. It's like, I'll be the judge of how hot that is. Thank you.
And not even a smooth soup like macaroni, not macaroni, what's minestrone, just guzzling minestrone. Just letting the chunks go down, eating it like a duck.
Get a baked potato straight out of the oven, just bite it like it's an apple.
Oh Jesus! Well, you just cool it down in your mouth, don't you? So you got to do
a good mouth juggle.
A lovely hot sausage roll. Is that too hot? That's fine.
Oh, man, I haven't had a sausage roll in ages. Anyway, sorry.
Bite into get a baked bean toasty, and you bite the corner off, and sometimes steam will still soon come out. She just necks them, swallows them like a snake.
She just sucks the steam. I don't actually like the food. I just want the hot air, the hot damp air.
or like a cheese toasty. The worst thing with a scalding hot cheese toasty is when you pull it out and molten cheese goes down your chin. So it's like it burns your tongue, but then also your chin. You're like,
You try and move it and it sticks to the roof of your mouth. It's like, this is how I die.
So that, and he just dive through a window, just into a swimming pool. I haven't got a swimming pool, but you know. Still there.
Into a chainsaw.
But yeah, if the drugging hasn't given away the crusty old Dean, meanwhile, back at the police department, they found out that he's changed his name from Little Jimmy Murders. And his mom was axed when he was a kid. Police put 2 and 2 together and say, right.
I mean, the police put 2 and 8 together and go, sure.
Well, Kendall did a lot of the legwork.
Yeah, Kendall did a lot of legwork. And this
unpaid intern.
One of these great things where, like, the scene for all of the murders and everything you've got through in this movie, just really cool, not cool, awful incidental dialogue where it's like, right, you stay and phone the lieutenant while I go and deal with that. No, actually, you come with me. I'm already in the car. What am I thinking? Oh, right, let's go.
What am I like?
Oh.
Come on.
And the bit when the guy at the evidence place is looking at him and he like slags him off while he's on the phone, goes, "Oh, this might take a little while." Guy on the phone seems like a right piece of shit. Oh yeah, mate, I'm still here. Yeah.
It's like those awkward real life moments they've decided just to keep in the film.
I like that is actually one of the things I like. I like those things. I think they make it a better film than it has any right to be. With old sleazy Simón directing.
Simón, you dirty bastard.
But having had 2 drugged cups of coffee, unfortunately, Mary Riggs is suffering a little bit. And then the crusty old Dean shows his hand and says, like, yeah, you probably feel a bit funny. He says, oh, yeah, it's probably all the drugs I put in your coffee. You can hear me all right, I'd imagine. I know the effect of drugs. You can hear me all right, but I imagine you're paralyzed. And true to his word, she is.
And disgustingly, he put someone else's old shoes on her feet. Disgusting.
It's the worst thing he's done.
Oh, it's horrible. And they fit. So he's like, yep, those are the feet for me.
Those are the feet for me. Thankfully, Kendall and the police are
efficient.
They're efficient. They're
efficient. Just have a look behind the curtain.
Oh no, they don't. They mustn't.
No.
Because before that, Kendall is like, right, I'm coming in. You can't come in. All right, you can come in, but you must do exactly what we say. And then he immediately just get back, and they're shoving him against the wall. They go in, and the Dean is nowhere to be seen. As you say, Ben, he's inefficiently hidden behind the curtains.
Yeah,
no one checks.
And obviously, Mary is trying to, in her heavily drugged state, is trying to use her eyes to alert them to the killer behind the curtain, like literally going, that doesn't happen. The police go off thinking they're chasing him down, and then the Dean comes out and has a little wrestle with Kendall, trying to kill him, trying to put a knife in his face.
Yeah, trying to put a knife in his face, but thankfully the police, probably having forgotten something benign, come back to tell me, oh, shoot him, I guess. And they do. They blow him away.
Good shot.
Headshot,
baby.
Boom.
Also, just before the headshot, before the Dean attacks, for some reason, Kendall's deciding that he's just going to try and get Mary to stand up in her heavily drugged state and
it's
walk.
Like
which she clearly
one of your
can.
friends is too drunk. It's like, come on, just walk it off.
Just like, walk it off. He's not an expert on drugs. He's an expert on loving.
Yeah,
so.
It's like when one of your friends is too drunk to go onto a nightclub, but you don't want to have to take them home. You've got it in your head that you're going to help them recover and it'll be fine. I say that as someone who's been to a nightclub in the last 10 years. I haven't, but like you walk. When you're trying to get someone to recover, and it's like, come on, then. Just...
Oh, do you want a glass of water? Yeah. Do you want a glass of water?
I'll get you a cup of coffee, Mary. One sec.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that'd be brilliant.
Hey, what? You had it with cream and drugs, right? No more drugs. If you don't want any drugs in your coffee,
blink twice.
Say no.
Yeah. And then we get the final sting.
Our Dean's dead. Hooray!
Yeah, he got
Dean's
shot.
bloody dead. But to be fair, I didn't really think it was going to be him, the Dean. I didn't suspect him at any point.
I did.
Oh, you did?
Got a British accent. Obviously, the killer.
Oh yeah, evil.
Yeah,
he's always in a lovely perfect suit.
And he was in and he had a dad in the RAF. She was like, I put it together the whole time, whereas I thought it was Brown because of the same waistcoat.
But then turned out he's gay, so you checked out that as well. Could have been him. Could have been him. And then we get the final sting, obviously, which is the as Kendall like grabs his jacket.
Before that. So Detective Holden, Lieutenant Holden, Sergeant Holden, the other guy that's not Christopher George, leans on a thing. He's like, well, I'm glad that's solved. Leans on a thing, and then a thing like spins round.
A secret panel spins round.
And the Frankencorpse lady falls out onto Kendall, and he's just like,
he's like, oh, that's the worst, and he's like, oh, but he gets over pretty quickly. It's like,
brushes it off.
Like, now my heart's beating again. But you know what? Maybe a future in police work is for me, and they all have a jolly good laugh about it, like it's the end of a Thundercats episode. Like you know. It's like Schnarf has tripped over an apple, except it isn't. It's like a dead body has fallen on you.
It's not just a dead body, it's multiple dead pieces of dead bodies made into some Franken woman who obviously
who knew and was close to.
I recognize that hand. And so the final sting is as Kendall grabs his jacket, inexplicably the jigsaw corpse woman springs to life and kind of like grabs him by the dick, but like claws
at his dick.
Claws downwards through the jeans.
Yeah, blood's going everywhere.
Blood's going everywhere.
Fucking mess.
You didn't wash that penis, and I can tell. Get it off.
It was pungent enough that it aroused me from the grave.
What are we supposed to believe, that the Dean has somehow managed to he's some sort of necromancer as well, like bringing people back from the fucking dead?
Well, maybe
who knows?
Maybe it's because coincidentally, I'm not a scientist. I'd never claimed to be Ben, but he did incidentally make this composite woman out of loads of people who all fancied Kendall.
Oh. They were just awoken and aroused. He aroused them to life.
all of their souls together went, oh, Kendall could come to life. Grab his dick.
Yeah, exponentially horny for Kendall, enough that even the Veil of Death could not hold them back.
But,
absolutely wow.
But yeah, they just claw his dick to shreds, and then it's freeze frames.
Classic freeze frame of him screaming in
like
pain.
the end, like the end of A Murder, She Wrote, except instead of me and Jessica Fletcher going, him like going, oh.
It's a penis.
Oh,
getting mutilated. Okay, and that's the end. So I've got some name game. Do you remember name? Did we play name game?
We played name
Basket
game.
Case. We did play name game. So we've got some name games. Have you got any name game, Andy?
I think I've got at least one for you.
At least one. Okay. Would you want it? You can go first then, if that's the case.
Okay. So there's a killer on the loose. Except instead of being triggered by a jigsaw and trying to make a composite woman, this person is killing people to make sort of outdoors wear kind of overcoats that aren't waterproof but will keep you warm on a hike. He's making these out of
fleeces.
Fleeces, correct.
Oh, of course.
Yes. I love a good fleece and a flacket and a flumper. Okay, I've got some. Mine's a slightly different take, I think. On at least these first two are a slightly different take on the name game.
While you go yours, man.
Okay, so a frustrated Boston detective searches for a maniac responsible for mutilating a number of university co-eds and leaving behind peanut buttery chocolate treats all over the bodies.
Pieces.
Yes. Yes. Watching this film did make me think about Reese's Pieces probably too much. I was like, oh, I really do have a couple of Reese's Pieces to nibble on.
Whenever I see a woman made up of several pieces, I always think of peanut buttery treats.
Always. Okay, got another one. A frustrated Boston detective searches for the maniac responsible for mutilating a number of university co-eds as revenge for them stealing his pirate booty.
Pieces of 8.
Yes. Correct. I can't say they're going to get any better than that, but I've got a couple more. So, a frustrated Boston detective searches for the maniac responsible for mutilating a number of university co-eds who all turn out to be his sister's daughters.
Nieces.
Yes.
Nieces.
Yeah, pretty proud of that one. Okay, and one more from me. A frustrated Boston detective searches for the maniac responsible for mutilating a number of university co-eds who never got to finish their dissertations embodying results of original research that substantiate a specific view.
Thesis.
Yes, indeed. And that's that. And that is that. I'm glad everyone's enjoying.
Belial's come back.
Belial's returned.
Everyone's enjoying Name Game.
Belial's return sounds like a good sequel.
And I guess that's that. So, I guess the last thing to do is to rate the movie on a famous A to F scale. Does anybody like to go first? Do you want to rate it, Andy? Do you want to go first?
All right, I will go. This is a first watching for me, and this film's bonkers and mad. And in a traditional sense, is it a good movie? No, it is not. And many things about it, Juan, would get you cancelled in today's world. If there's an ism going, you probably nailed it. But it's a different time. And the kills in it are incredibly rapid. It's a fun watch. So for watchable and enjoyment factor, I'm still going to give this then. Still going to give it a B-. It's not top sleepaway camp for me, but I got time for this. This is one you could put on when you're having friends over and just have a jolly good time.
I think I agree. Definitely, I was feeling those sleepaway camp vibes in terms of it being utterly ridiculous, but still very, very entertaining. And yeah, it's not the most PC of movies, but yeah, it's still fun for what it is, and it is very, very silly. Be a great movie to watch with friends and just kind of enjoy. And I had some belly laughs during this movie, and I can't remember the last time we've done a film like that on this podcast that gave me the old belly laughs. So for that, I think I'll go for a B- as well.
Going back was really nice. I think we've watched all these contemporary releases, which at least are attempted to be made in a competent fashion.
Yeah.
And it was nice to go back to the good old days.
I guess we get the final thought from you now, Alice.
I pretty much agree with you guys. I was going to give it a C+, but I'm going to cave into peer pressure and also go B-.
Peer pressure.
Yay! I like how weird it is. I like the kills. I like how strange the music is for a lot of it, particularly the dance scenes. And it's a fun movie to watch with people. It was really fun introducing it to Bristol Bad Film Club. And having people kind of laugh at the things that I'd pointed out and stuff. So yeah, a good fun dumb movie with lots of blood, boobs, and penis.
And bad chop suey.
Actually, maybe C+ then.
Oh yeah, sorry. Oh, C+ is it?
Our ratings do not show that we condone any content that Juan thought it was necessary to add in there.
I think Juan's definitely a wrong and I don't think he's entirely responsible for how much fun this film is.
Yeah.
Juan. Okay, so that's that. Next week we're going to be doing Attack the Block because I think the sequel or the fact that I think the sequel has been announced, so that's going to happen. So that'll be cool. Alice, where can our listeners find more from you?
I'm at Twitter at the moment, at Alice Taylor M. Comedy shows have started coming back, so Tales of Adventure, the D&D show I do, is starting again at the Bristol Improv Theatre, and I've even been able to do a couple of stand-up gigs since things have opened again.
Oh wow!
And if you follow me on the internet, you'll probably see pictures of my baby. So that's always great. Who doesn't love seeing pictures of babies? If you don't, then yeah, probably don't follow me. But otherwise,
everyone does. There we go. So thanks for listening. If you enjoyed the show, become a patron at patreon.com/Hawk and Cleaver. Thanks to Kovac Cowman for our theme music. Thanks to Acast for hosting the show. Thanks to our listeners. Consider reviewing and subscribing, giving us a 5-star rating, all that stuff, or joining the Facebook group Horror Hangout Board of Advisors for more. And as always, thanks very much to my co-host Andy.
Thank you, Ben.
And thanks to special guest Alice.
thank you. Hello, bye.
Thanks a lot. See you next time.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.